Hey everyone, my name is Rachel Weldon. I am the Sites Director at a gym in Malvern, Pennsylvania called Fitness Trainers Incorporated. At our gym, we offer fitness training opportunities for individuals who have suffered from a traumatic brain injury, along with strokes and other disabilities, to offer fitness opportunities to keep each client in a healthy and active lifestyle. I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Kat. This is my last class in this master's certification, and I've learned a lot of useful information that I was able to actually take to my job and make our setting a little more adaptive and offer new opportunities for our clients as well. So moving forward, the topic of my choice for this presentation is accountability. So to start off, I'm actually going to have everyone take out a piece of paper and we're going to go through a couple questions. And I want you guys to each think of each question whether the statement would be true or false. So when we're ready, let's start with our first one. So students are often discouraged by physical education because they must change clothes. Students are discouraged by physical education because they don't want to sweat. As an educator, we should talk down to our students so that they know who is in charge. We should only allow for games that involve winning and elimination challenges. Instant activities are a great way to start class and grab the students' attention. We shouldn't show any interest in your students because it's best to remain uninvolved. Small groups and partner activities help encourage participation. And we should allow students to provide respectful feedback. So I want you guys again to reconsider whether these statements would be true or false. After going through my presentation, we'll touch base at the end and see how you guys answered each question. But this far along, we should pretty much know what each answer would be. All right, so let's get started. Some background information. The enforcement of the Every Student Success Act, also known as ESSA, created an environment where schools are held accountable for student learning. Each state has greater flexibility and independence to employ systems that hold schools accountable for their students' outcomes. So the Every Student Success Act, which ESSA formally recognizes physical education as an essential component of a well-rounded education. Therefore, being included in the ESSA Act allows more opportunities to access funding, yet funding is primarily contingent upon data-based evidence. The ESSA Act encourages an evidence-based approach, which encourages families, teachers, administrators, community stakeholders, and researchers to collaborate and develop policies, systems, and environments that promote student learning in schools. Policymakers are pushing schools to help combat childhood obesity. Education Next is a program that takes a closer look at a new way to promote physical education in an adaptive framework. So now we'll look at a video about Education Next describing how they are implementing a new way of physical education throughout their schools.
Michelle Obama's new campaign of getting students moving for 60 minutes daily is important, and schools can help that through their physical education programs. At the elementary and the middle school levels, I think, they do get more opportunities to be active, but when they get older and they're getting less active in general, we're giving them less physical education time. So we need to figure out ways to support that.
I would take PE, I just don't like dressing up every day. I just have a problem with that.
Our biggest problem is, getting the kids dressed.
In 9th grade PE, we didn't do a lot of difficult exercising to the point where I would break a sweat
Bobby Parsons. I'm a physical education teacher at T.C. Williams High School. I also teach the 25th hour physical education class. It is an independent PE class that students in the 10th, 11th, or 12th grade could elect to take. They take class independently. There's no PE class in the school schedule. They are given a heart rate monitor, and for the year, they are responsible for getting 3 workouts a week, and their grade is subjected to their efforts that is recorded on the heart rate monitor.
This is the heart monitor we wear for 25th hour PE. It straps around the back like this, and you wear it with this watch.
Student has a heart rate monitor of their own. They take it home with them, they work out with it, and then once a week they drop their watch off, and I simply just put it next to the computer and upload it to see what their workouts for that week look like. So here's one of my students. She's got obviously 3 workouts in, and you can see that they're all in length, the appropriate amount. So this is Sophie's workout. We can see that she worked out for just over an hour, about an hour and 15 minutes, and she's actually in her cardio zone for 47 minutes and 15 seconds.
I'm not extremely self-motivated, so I won't go home and say, oh, well, today I actually want to do this, unless I'm really in the mood to do something. But this makes me actually have to work out. Whereas in PE, if I show up and dress out and participate a little bit, I get an A, and it's easier. This is more of a challenge.
What motivates me most is probably getting to watch your heart rate on the monitor. Like, it's really cool.
So in the beginning, there was a little bit of relaxed idea about the class, but as they started to realize that their grade really does depend on their workouts and their effort, they started to step it up a notch.
25th hour really does a great job of what physical education is supposed to be about. We know that you've got to elevate your heart rate to a certain point in order for it to have a training effect. So we are now going to monitor that through the use of polar watches and computer systems.
I taught physical education for a while that focused a lot on, did the students show up in their PE uniform? Did they have the right shoes on? Did they act appropriate in class? And could they hit the layup or not? And really, that doesn't mean anything for when they get older and they get into adulthood.
I think this class will change how I exercise in the future, because how I did my workouts, how often, how long, and how good they are affected my grade. And I got into this routine of 3 days a week working out for an hour that it wouldn't make sense to change it.
Awesome. So you can definitely see how there's some great aspects for the Education Next 25th hour PE. Right. All right, let's move forward. So now talking a little bit more on Education Next. This is a unique opportunity that allows students to participate in activities that pique the student's personal interest. Yet this option is not available for all students. As you talked about in the video, I think she mentioned that only 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students were able to participate, and this did not include physical education in their daily schedule. This was only contingent to after school. Also, this does not follow specific teaching curriculum, since you're allowing the students to partake in basically any activity as long as it would elevate their heart rate for the appropriate amount of time. This program does not allow for adapted assistance or assess fine and gross motor function. So it would be pretty hard to keep track of the student's functional level and what they are able to do, whether it be to accomplish a certain skill or task, or based on whether or not they're just keeping their heart elevated for a specific amount of time. So that brought me to this quote that says, simply passing legislation mandating a little more PE time or alternative PE option just isn't going to do. And that's just relaying that although we may have more bills passed and legislation that says, yes, physical education is great, it doesn't definitely promote the fact that the students will engage. They're just allowing more opportunities, but we really need to figure out a way that can make students participate more and really want to be involved in the physical education setting. Therefore, there is the need for accountability. So for starters, a well-designed physical education program is inclusive, active, enjoyable, and supportive. So now we're going to start talking about how to create this type of environment that enforces student engagement in a fun and supportive environment. So accountability systems. They should need to be in place to ensure that districts, schools, and teachers are collecting meaningful student data based on physical education standards. Some ways to promote an accountable environment. You can promote and advocate physical education and encourage class participation. One way to do that is called an instant activity. And we have a YouTube video to describe what an instant activity is and some examples of how to promote it in your classroom.
So they walk on one line, they jog on another line. Thumbs up. Following directions. Please remember today when the teacher's talking, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you have something to say, what should you do? What should you do? And also, please remember to keep your hands and feet to yourself. Please point to the jogging lines. Point to the walking lines. Jogging lines. Walking lines. Is it a race? Yeah. Is it fun? Yeah. You ready to get started? Yeah. All right, stand up.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going? This is Ben, and today I just wanted to talk to you about instant activities. That is a great management strategy for you to use in your school. Basically what that means is as kids come in the door, you have them immediately do something. Before you take roll, before you do anything else, you just have them come in the door, they do an instant activity. This is a great routine to put in place at your school, especially if you teach at a school that has double classes. A lot of times, at least at our school, one class will come in, they'll be sitting on the line, and then you end up waiting 3 or 4 minutes for the other class to show up. And if you have instant activity in place, you can just start the music, those kids come in, they're in activity, the other class shows up and jumps right in. And that just cuts down on any management or behavior issues you might have while you're waiting, cuts down on downtime. And even if you only have one class, it just gets those kids ready to focus. We all know the research behind activity shows that when your body is active, your brain is active. And so getting those kids active gets their brain ready to learn. So that's going to benefit you when you start teaching them the lesson that you have planned for them that day. It can be really simple. We keep it simple. At my school, we just do walking lines and jogging lines. And they walk on one line, they jog on another line. They just do laps around the gym. They're not racing. They're just warming up and getting exercise. And you can change that up really easily by doing, different locomotors, skipping and sliding lines. You can put cones up and have exercise stations. You can do an interval timer. You can write an activity up on the board. You can do, rock, paper, scissors battles. And there's tons of different instant activities for you to try out. But I really think kids do like a routine that they can expect and that they know what to expect. So if you can put that routine in place, I think it will be really beneficial for your program. I think your kids would enjoy it, and I think it would cut down on a lot of any behavior management problems you might have. So hopefully you can use that. If you guys have some really good instant activity ideas or links, please put them in the comments. And thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.
So you can obviously tell by the PE specialist in that video, he encouraged that instant activity really helps to engage the students. And he also included 2 important aspects, which included some behavioral management issues. So if you have any students that have known behavior management, basically issues that may disrupt the class, instant activities are a great way to engage those students quickly. That way they become a little less disruptive. And also he talked about having a specific routine, which is always great. I think as long as you have routine in the classroom, kids are more encouraged to participate because they know what's happening and know what's coming next. So the activity doesn't necessarily have to be the same exact activity each week, but as long as you have similar transitions and a similar routine. I think this will really encourage, again, students that may have some behavioral challenges to encourage some comfort level in their routine. And move forward. So what are some more ways to promote accountability? We can tailor development towards appropriate culture and settings. And this talks about increasing the teacher's culture competency and finding ways to connect different backgrounds and ethnicities. This is actually from a journal article that I reviewed talking about if you have students that don't necessarily have similar backgrounds, particularly in urban settings, how to really connect the students and find common ground where they're all interested in participating in specific games or activities. Also, encourage participation by creating a mastery climate and connecting with students. So it's important to interact and support each of your students' personal and social responsibility. This helps create fewer disruption and increase participation and greater enjoyment overall of the physical education class. You should include games over skill-based activities on occasion, such as on the left here in the picture, you can see that the students are playing, it looks like Hungry Hungry Hippos, using some scooters, and it looks to appear to be some sort of the soft balls. Another technique would be using split gym or smaller group activities and circuits, which are effective ways of increasing movement for your students. So here are also some more ways to promote accountability in your students, which would be to provide students with options to work in small groups or with a single partner. Giving them an option may make them feel responsible and then encourage them to participate in one or more appropriate activities. Place less importance on winning, and taking away also elimination challenges is great, especially for kids who might struggle in certain skill sets, and taking away those winning or elimination won't make them feel stressed as much, and then encourage them to participate as well. Also, teach activities that don't always favor the most skilled students. So show interest and connect with your students. This not only creates a connection between you and your class, but it also will help to boost your teachers' more personal satisfaction with their work environment. It's actually shown that teachers that have connections with their student enjoy the work they do and are more willing, not more willing, but may want to actually put in some more time and really feel the passion for teaching and getting involved in their students' lives. And you can also use visual aids when see fit. This can help boost a student's participation level, especially if they have trouble understanding a move. Using visual aids may help break down the movement and therefore allow them to learn the skill set at an appropriate pace. So how to encourage student participation? First would be ask, which would be talk to your students and their community. By doing so, you can learn about different activities that each student might like and what their interests may be. It's also important to listen. So for this one, it's pretty important because you want to provide a community where the students' comments and feedback are welcome. We also want to try to connect their viewpoints to the curriculum. Listening can also be a little bit tricky because you want to make sure that the students are being respectful and they're not insulting or being rude to other students, and you really want to try and create a positive community which provides helpful feedback, not just feedback that the students just may want to say. Also, as a physical educator, you want to reflect. You should become aware of your own assumptions, beliefs, and biases. And although you might not think so, you can't let your personal feelings come between you and your lesson plans. Reflect's pretty important just coming from a personal standpoint because you want to be aware of any beliefs and biases that you didn't realize were underlying, and you don't want them to affect your students or the feelings and lesson plans involved. And lastly, which is one of the most important as well, is respect. You need to create a community where respect goes both ways, not only for you as an educator, but your students as well, because they're each their own individual. So next, we'll put it all together. So programs such as Education Next Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign, and the Fit Kids Act all aim to fight the war against childhood obesity. It's extremely important, and I think all of these bills and acts really help to motivate teachers to really encourage participation in the physical education programs. Yet, as stated before, by simply passing bills and promoting new fitness initiatives does not guarantee student participation, as we very much know. Therefore, creating an environment where a student is held accountable and is actually interested as well as encouraged is a major motivational factor. So after listening to my presentation, you have plenty of tools that can help create an environment where participation takes place and also allows for a supportive and enjoyable environment. So again, I just wanted to say thank you. I've learned so much information in this master certification. I'm really glad I was able to find this. And like I said, I reuse it even if I'm not a physical educator and I'm a site director. A lot of my clients, we require adapted physical, different situations, and this major and all these classes that we've taken so far have really opened up my eyes, and I've taken a lot of this helpful feedback and used them in my gym location today. So as stated, we're going to go over and review the answers. So hopefully everyone got them right. So number one, that said students are discouraged by PE because they must change their clothes. This is actually true, and shown in the Education Next video, a lot of the students actually said they don't want to have to be worried about changing into fitness clothes. They'd rather just stay in what they're wearing for the day. Number two stated that students are discouraged by physical education because they don't want to sweat. Again, that's true. A lot of students may have PE early in the day and they don't want to sweat and feel like they might smell or feel uncomfortable for the rest of the day. Therefore, they look negatively upon the physical education course and don't necessarily want to participate. As an educator, we should talk down to our students so they know who's in charge. I'm really hoping that everyone said false on this one, even before we got started with the presentation. And then through the presentation, we learned that respect is a major motivation factor for not only the teachers, but as well as your students. And number four, only allow for games that involve winning and eliminations. Also false, and this is false not only for your general PE course, but it's particularly important for your adaptive physical education courses, as we see that winning and elimination challenges can be a major set-off and may even trigger individuals that have a behavioral management issue. Number five, instant activities are a great way to start class and grab the student's attention. This is true. As we saw from the PE specialist video, he used instant activities to immediately grab students' attention, and that way it gets them motivated to be involved and also grabs their attention so they're less disruptive or causing issues to other students in the class as well. And number six says don't show any interest in your students. It's best to remain uninvolved. I'm hoping again everyone said false. As we learned, it's great to connect with your students. Try and get some connection between your class and what interests and skill levels they have. That way you're able to tailor the best physical education program for your class. Small groups and partner activities help encourage participation. This is true. We saw from the presentation that allowing different group settings and even a split group gym class encourage participation. And lastly is allow students to provide respectful feedback, which is also true. Again, we learned that allowing the students to have a comfortable environment where they feel they can talk and discuss openly with continuing to be appropriate, which is extremely important, is a great way to develop that sense of supportive community that the students need. And finally, lastly, this is just my reference page. If you guys have any questions or comments on my presentation, feel free to email me or contact me at all. Again, thanks so much for everyone who's finishing your program. Congratulations. For anyone who's just starting or maybe in the middle, good luck, and you're really going to take a whole lot of information that's extremely valuable that you can use towards your current physical education jobs, your future jobs, or just any jobs that may be in adapted physical settings such as mine. So thanks so much, guys. I hope you were able to take away some valuable information.